Hello everyone, and welcome back. I know it's been ridiculously long time since the previous video. It wasn't my intention to have this sort of a summer break, but it is what it is. The important thing is that I'm back at it. I'm back in the videos, and I'll continue right where I left off. So I was at the we're going over the Gordon Ryan's weight category matches in the ADCC 2017. He beat Dylan Dennis in the first round. Then he just mauled Romulo. It was quite impressive match. It lasted just about 2 minutes, and he did everything you could ask for in the match. He did takedowns, guard passes, back takes, and just to cap it off, a choke. So he went on to the semifinals. On the other side of the Gordon Ryan's bracket side, we have Xande Ribeiro, who also made it to the semifinals. Now Xande is a multiple-time IBJJF world champion, quite the legend in the sport. And in the ADCC 2017, he went down a weight category because he's usually one up in the minus 99. And he's been having thus far quite the performance. He had this incredible matchup with Rustam Chishev, where he had that picture-perfect sequence of closed guard attack into the armbar and just took it home. That's incredible. Might have to do just a video on that sequence alone. But okay, so Gordon Ryan and Xande are about to meet. Just as before, I got a couple of clips for you that I want to go over. A couple of sequences that I want to go over from this match. I mean, it's on paper a very tough grapplers, two of them, but in the end, it's quite over. It's highly likely what the matches look like in ADC, especially when you have two tough guys who are both really good. There won't be too many action sequences and so forth. And this one was kind of the same. It went to the distance, but and in the overtime, when we have the wrestling department, there wasn't many really threatening wrestling takedowns or anything going on. But we did have some couple of nice sequences in the regulation time, where both of them, first Xande was on the bottom playing guard, and then we had the opposite. We had Gordon on the bottom and going from there. So a couple of sequences that I really wanted to go over and explain. So the first one is this sort of a hook pass. I'll name it at that. Maybe Gordon has a different name for it. It's one of the innovations that he's come up with or trained and developed as he was training for the ADCC 2017. Now he has said in many of the interviews that prior to ADCC 2017, Danaher told him that, if anybody beats you, he's going to pass your guard, or your guard passing. Is kind of implying that your guard passing is not the best in the business. And Gordon really took it personally, so to speak, and went on to develop quite guard passing skill. And here is one of the innovations that he shows, and it's I really like it. I've tried it myself with some up and downs, but I'll get over it. Let's look at the sequence first. I'll play it in half the speed. Let's look at a couple of times what's going on here, and then I'll break it down. Computer was lagging a little bit, so here we go. So he hooks that leg, and then he, on that same side that he hooked the leg, he tries to go over the guard. So let's look at this one more time, and then I'll break it down for you. Okay. Let's go back to the beginning. So first of all, this is what I like to call sort of a De La Riva-ish position, meaning that one of the foot is trapped between the guard player's legs, just so as it is right now. It's not why I say De La Riva-ish is because of this grip here. Xande doesn't have this like a normal De La Riva grip. Usually this hand, Xande's hand, would come underneath his own leg and then grab the ankle here, and that would be like a regular De La Riva situation. But in this case, he has this sort of an overhook, but still the leg is sort of trapped. It's not totally free to move, but it's more free. And okay, so what does Gordon do? So he starts to use this active post idea. Active post meaning meaning that he's basing his weight on his hands more leaning forward. In this case, he's more tilted on his right side, so his right hand is as a base there, and that really frees up his left leg. So the left leg is here free, and he can do what he's about to do with it. So having that base there, he will pick up this foot and insert it in front of the Xande's right foot, and let's see what it looks like. So he has the base to be able to do that. Sorry, my computer is lagging a little bit. We have to. Okay, there we go. So that's where he puts it. So, and the idea is going to be this: that because you have a foot there, you're able to use this foot to start kind of applying pressure downward here, and that will kind of manipulate the foot of Xande, that he's Xande's right foot. So the idea would be, if you press here, you kind of stomp it, so the guard player won't be able to use it that well. And since he's not able to use it that well, the next idea is going to be that he would like to jump over to that side. So he's blocked the leg, and he will use his hand again. It's shifted a little bit. The hand shifted from here. It was more over the head here. It shifted towards here, and the idea is that now it gives it the direction that towards you want to move your entire body. So as he rotated his arm this way, that means his entire body rotated sort of like that way. So Gordon is not anymore like looking to his left side; he's more looking to his right side, meaning that his bottom part of his body is starting to tilt towards the left side. So he wants to push off of this arm, his right arm, and then go around the legs, and that's what he's going to do. So he pushes off the hand and makes this little sprawling motion with the other leg, and kind of tries to go around the guard. But it's a nice innovation. It's a great idea. In this particular case, it won't work, or it doesn't work, and why it doesn't work is really when you look at what's going to happen here. Nice guard recovery by Xande, even though he's sort of almost past the legs. But you can see that Xande has a nice frame here with his right arm, and his left arm is framing here. So you need to control some distance. If you do not control any distance, he's able to kind of land on your chest, and that's just what any guard passer would want: a chest-to-chest contact and get all the space out of there. So Xande is able to maintain some of the space here, and because of that, and because Gordon kind of sprawled this way, that means there's because he sprawled this way, that means there's quite a bit of a space here. You can see there's a lot of space here, and he tries to kind of move around Xande's leg here in this sort of a circular motion. But because there's a lot of space, and because Xande is keeping the frames, Xande is able to put his knee and shin in between them. So we'll look at just a tiny bit further. There we go. He maintained space. Gordon trying to go around, but he was caught in the frames, and then Xande reinserted the knee and the shin there, which allowed him to recover the guard. This is a move that we've seen Gordon later on do as well. In his match with Keinan Tuarte in the no-gi Pan Championships last year, yes, 2018, yep. He modified this pass a little bit. So instead of just going around, I don't have that clip for you right now, might do that later on. Instead of just going around here, rather he will try to push the foot down here and go himself more forward, trying to go directly into the mount. So the idea would be that if you push the foot down enough, the knee would start to the Xande's knee, that you can't really see it from here, but the knee would start to like come away from the chest that it's it's close to Xande's chest, it starts to come out of the way, and then you can kind of pop yourself over there. So it's kind of a modification he made later on with the move, and he was able to basically mount Kanan and get that winning sequence from there, where he took the back and choked Kanan out. So a nice idea, a nice try. Wasn't quite able to finish it, but a good try, and he later on even made it better. Yeah. So one of the things that when I play around with this move, when I've tried this move, but I like to train with the gi a lot as well. So with the gi, at least, it's not that much of a problem with no gi. But in the gi, Xande could use his right hand to grab a collar grip. So if there was a collar grip here with the right hand, he would be able to more like pull Gordon forward and use the hook here. Use the hook to kind of tilt up. So you'd get this kind of a forward rocking motion, which would disrupt the balance, and on top you would be more threatened with a sweep, so you have to recover that. So that's something that I find why it doesn't work for me that well. But again, in no-gi you don't have collar grip. It's much harder for on the bottom person to make this rocking motion, and again, a nice execution. So that was the first sequence that I wanted to go over with you. Let's go over the second one. The second one is about Xande. It's gonna be both. I'm gonna look at the underhook sweep that Xande does, and also defense to it. But let's look at the offense first. So it's basically the situation where he also got the armbar on Rustam. There was a bit of a variation of the sweep though, but in most basic idea is that when the guy on the top of close guard stands up, as Gordon is doing, and I myself am a big believer or follower of the idea that you should stand up in the close guard, because that's a reasonable way to open it. But when you do stand up, your legs become targets. It just goes with the territory. As you stand up, your legs are close, and the bottom guy is able to, or at least has a possibility to try to off-balance you and get some sweeps going on from there. And this is one of the classical old-school sweeps. And the idea here is that on the bottom, from the bottom's perspective, you underhook one of the legs really tightly. You go up on the shoulder almost. So it's not like you go like near the armpit only, or even less the hook. You want to really get it close to it, more. Not the armpit through the elbow. You want to get it. You exactly want to get it near the armpit. So you're really curled up. You're curled. You've brought your body really close up against the leg. And the idea is that once his body is really against the leg here, so there's very little distance here. That's the goal here. Get yourself glued against the leg there, and then you will want to use your hips. So Xande would like to use his hips to start as a contact point. The hips are the contact point against the knee here, against Gordon's knee here. Okay, so there is the hip is coming against the knee from here. Okay, the knee is here. So you have this the force coming from this direction, and then you want to pull the leg towards you as you further extend the hips outwards. So you get this kind of a scissoring motion on the leg. So the bottom of your foot is coming out from underneath you, and your knee is being pushed in the opposite direction. So it's sort of like this area here is where kind of Gordon has no base other than that leg. Okay, he's unable to get any other base there as it is to regain balance. So that's the idea behind the sweep. Xande will often, and that's a variation of the sweep, you'll see he places his hand on the mat often, like the hand, so he can have a further extension from there. So if you push this, push from the hand, you're able to push your hips further into the knee. And again, you want maximal push into that direction. That's why you want to get very close to him at first. If you have that gap there, some air in the bit between them, you have to make that much movement with the hip in the air, which is not pushing his knee, and that's what you want to do. So that's the idea behind the sweep here. Get close, use your body and coordination in a way that you're able to pull the leg sort of towards you, or at least keep it where it is, and then you use your hip and your entire body to extend the knee outwards. Is it in half speed? Let's see. Did I put it in the half speed? No, I didn't. So this is now in the half speed. Let's look at it a couple of times, the move. So boom. Let's look at it a few more times. He uses the other hand on the mat. See, he extends, he tries to extend his body and always tilting that hip a little bit towards the knee. Gordon takes at first, well, let's break it down a little bit. I'll use this clip as an offense example, and Gordon later on will defend it, and I'll use that as a defense. But so now you see the extension here. Xande starts to extend his hip against the knee as he's pulling the foot out. So, and Gordon made a nice move here, which I will go into the next clip. But he took a step back with the free leg. Okay, he took this little bit step back because, again, this is the area where you have no base when you're on top here. And if you take this leg back there, you will regain posture. So Gordon momentarily regains the posture. But then he makes another step closer. Look, he steps closer again, and then you don't have that base anymore there. So he took a step closer again, and maybe he thought, nothing's coming out of it anymore. But then Xande just latches himself to another attempt there, and boom, and this time Gordon is forced to fall down. I mean, it's not the easiest sweep to finish if you're really on top, you really want to get back, because Gordon will use his hand on the mat. He will get up. It didn't end up in a sweep, but there's always danger here, like actually being swept or even mounted. If he has enough momentum going, you get mounted, or as you see here, you look at the hand that's Gordon is posting on Xande, so that Xande wouldn't be able to get on top. That arm could be armbarred quite easily, and that's something that that you always got to be aware of when you're fighting back from this sweep attempt. So that's how Xande does the sweep. There's other variations of it. There's a variation of it where he doesn't underhook this leg, but rather underhooks the opposite leg. But we won't get into that right now. So now I hope you have the basic idea of the sweep here and what's going to happen here. Let's look at the another clip from basically the same, almost the same sequence. They're still in the close guard situation. So I played half the speed. Just a couple of views so you see what's going on. And the idea is here to look at how Gordon manages to avoid being swept here, kind of like figures the puzzle out here, and then he's able to later on open the guard. Okay, so the things to notice here, as we already mentioned a little bit in the previous clip as well. Let's play just a tad bit further. Okay, so Xande about to put his hand on the mat and get that extension again going to turn Gordon's knee out. Okay, he's extending, and once again behind Gordon's left side. Okay, so somewhere around here is that area where he has the least base, and that's where Xande wants to put the force towards to. Now, you on the top, that right leg of his, that of Gordon's here, that one, it's not doing much here. That's the threat is in the opposite direction. So you can use that leg to take a step up. You kind of a little bit rotate your body. You rotate your right side a little bit, like turning it behind your back almost, so that this foot can get towards that area and have a base there. So that's the idea how you start defending this sweep. And if I just play a little bit further, boom, there we go. That little step there. So that kind of resists the sweep, because now he has a base there. He has a base with that leg there. Okay, so that's the key component in my opinion that you gotta be aware of. You gotta have that drilled, that you're able to redistribute your balance on that free leg of yours to put it where you need it in order to defend sweep. Okay, and of course another thing, this time as well. Gordon's upper body is more, he's keeping it more forward here, more again towards the sweep is coming to the Gordon's left side, so he wants to tilt it more like forward and right side. So and he is doing that because again it's harder for Xande to try to get the Gordon off balance if he's making this counterbalancing movement. So the counterbalancing movement with the foot there first gives you the base there, and then the upper body leaning as well. And of course, Gordon now defended it and maintained stop position. He didn't fall down underneath there again, and was able to stay on his feet. So that's how the sweep goes, and that's how you should try to defend it. Okay, and I have one more clip from this match that I wanted to go. Everything is on the regulation period. So thus far it was Xande on the bottom. At some point, I can't remember directly, but I think Xande just stood up at some point, and then Gordon pulled guard. Let's see the last clip. There was one of the sequences of Gordon's where he gets one of the leg lock positions. I'm using the simple word of leg lock entry. Its fancy word would be you get an ashigurami, trying to get the leg entanglement. And we've basically seen the idea before. If you look at this match with Dylan Dennis, he did it not exactly in this manner. There was a bit of a variation, but the fundamental idea is the same. So we have this half butterfly guard going on, and again, a lot of the Danaher guys swear by the having the inside control of the legs, and which in this case would be that Gordon has his butterfly hooks and he's controlling the inside of the legs. Gordon is inside of the legs, and Xande's legs are on the outside. So his left leg is having this kind of a sort of butterfly hook here. There's a butterfly hook in the inside one of the thigh there. Gordon's left leg, that is, has the butterfly hook, and his right foot is underneath here. So and the idea of getting a leg lock entry here is as follows. So Gordon will want to get this forward rocking motion, forward and upward, meaning you will need some sort of a grip to start pulling him forward. And in this case, he has two hands on the wrist here. Fantastic grip. I like it. I like it a lot. In different situations, you can overpower the arm that way. And he will use that to start pulling Xande forward. But that alone won't do it. You want to get Xande's entire body more forward here, so that you can go as the attacker, go underneath him, underneath the hips. And the other thing that he's going to do, he's going to use the foot here, the hooking foot here that has the butterfly hook. But we will also well, okay, I'll explain it and then I'll show the clip. I forgot to show you the clip in its entirety, what we're talking about. But all right, I'll finish the first part of the breakdown that I wanted to do, and that is even this hook and the arm combined won't be quite enough to get him rocking forward. Xande is also using base here, which is great. He's creating this frame here against Gordon's neck, which will allow him to more push himself against the forward resistance, so he stays more back there. But really nice detail that's gonna come here is that Gordon will take his other leg, the right leg, that is currently not doing much, it's just between there. In the end, Gordon will like the right leg to come around this Xande's leg here, Xande's left leg, and then get into that leg lock position. But to get there, he will use the hook, he will use the grips, and then he will place the right leg on the mat here. You will see that it will sort of straighten out here, place the foot on the mat, and then use it as kind of like you would do a bridge against the mat. So that will create that much more power into the hook and into this pull here. So these three things combined will make Xande more rocking forward, and Gordon be able to pull himself off of that motion underneath him. So I'll show the clip now in its entirety. So there we go. Let's look at it. Is it half speed? It's not. This is half speed. Okay, let's go look at it at half speed. He rocks him forward, and then he's able to get into the leg lock entry. One more time. Pulls forward. There's some more details there. I will go them over now. So let's stop right here. So as I said, this one pulls the grip here, pulls forward. The hook here, the hook that is in there, that will lift and forward. And the third thing consists of a couple of little things. First is that Gordon will use this foot on the mat to bridge, have much more force in the bridge. But as he starts to get a little bit elevated, you will see that Gordon will put his right knee behind the Xande's thigh here, and he will use that to actually kind of kick or pull a little bit and have this little sort of a little quick push from there as well to bring Xande forward. So all of those things combined, that's what you have to do. The coordination here to get that move to work is those 3 or 4 things. Let's look at it just a little bit further. Look, now he got the first kind of sort of a little bit Xande rocked with the grips and with the hook and the leg push, but now to cap it off, he will use that thigh. You see how the thigh is behind Xande's hamstrings here, and he will kind of like kick him a little bit more forward with this one, so he can really get underneath. There we go. Boom. Now we've got a nice, really forward rocking motion going, using many things, using your entire body in unison, and get a really nice leg lock entry there. Boom, there we go. Wasn't able to really get much out of it in the end, but a nice attack nonetheless. All right, so these were the clips that I wanted to go over in this match. Apart from these sequences, I don't think not too many things happened in the match. This is still in the regulation time. Once the regulation time ended, I would say that going into the overtime, Gordon had much more offense. Gordon in the regulation time, he was the one, when he was on top, he was one actively looking passing positions. He had that really nice sequence that I covered first. And then later on, when he was on the bottom, he was also threatening all sorts of things, while Xande was more just keeping his base, staying back there, and not really threatening much himself. And in the overtime, when they were wrestling, nothing really happened there, except for Xande was a couple of times he got a really nice single leg entry. Like he got a single leg. He got a really nice grips and everything, but he just didn't have it. They didn't have the skills to finish it off. I mean, it was a really nice single leg entry. He had all the grips, but didn't really rock Gordon's pace. Gordon, of course, had a nice balance, and he was just kind of sprawled and pulled his leg out of the position, and that's it. It wasn't like Gordon was almost falling and sometimes goes on his hands. So again, a nice entry, but not too threatening. So they went to the judge's decision. Gordon gets the nod, and I think it's a fair decision. And he's off to face none other than Keenan Cornelius, who is on the back mat here. I think that's the match there behind is Greg Jones and Keenan Cornelius there. Keenan won that, I believe, with a submission. I can't exactly recall what the submission was. But yeah, so a cool final. 2 Americans in the final, Gordon and Keenan, and that'll be the next and final video in this weight category kind of saga that I wanted to go over. But I also have other things in mind that I want to do. I want to more stay up to date with, or up to date meaning that. As there are coming, a lot of events are happening almost every week, a lot of matches, and I want to cover them as well as they go. And there's one of those that I want to do that happened just last weekend, and I'll also try to get the video out this week as this one is coming out as well this week. So you'll have a couple of videos for this week, and then we'll go from there. I thank you for watching. Again, I'm sorry for the couple of months of break. I'll try to be more active and keep pumping out the videos. If you like the video, please like the video and subscribe. You feel free to share it, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Os!